It's Monday the 12th of December and you're very welcome to the Daily Show.
Now, as we all know, while this is a joyous time of year for most, it can be a difficult and lonely time for many, particularly for the elderly.
Alone, which helps to look after our senior citizens, have set up a befriending service. To tell us more about this now, we are joined by Pearl Flanagan and Sean Moynihan, CEO of Alone. You're very welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very much.
Pearl, I'm going to start with you. Before we chat about the befriending service, tell us about your own situation.
I live on my own. I'm on my own 28 years, and it does get lonely at times, but since I started Alone, it has been great because I have a volunteer comes to me once a week, and she's now on maternity leave, and I have another girl now at the moment.
And what's the neighbourhood like where you live? I mean, do you see the people who live in the houses next door? Is there a good community spirit?
Not like what it used to be years ago. It's not, definitely, because there's only about 4 of the originals there now, but I just see the girl next door going in and out, and we say hello, but we don't be.
You wouldn't be friends.
No, we wouldn't. It's definitely changed. It's more quieter now, and it's not neighbours like the way it was years ago. Definitely not.
So if you called into one of the neighbours' houses looking for a cup of sugar, what kind of answer would you get?
You wouldn't knock at the neighbours nowadays.
Would you not?
No, because an awful lot now are all new neighbours as well. You know, they're in over there a few years, but they're not as friendly as the older neighbours now.
And what about your own family then? Because you had siblings, but you never married, is that?
No, I didn't, no. I have 2 sisters there, Jean and Hazel, and Jean comes to visit me once a week. The other girl comes about once a month. Or,
Were you ever tempted to go down the aisle?
I was a few years back, and I was going with somebody that had a drink problem, and you give up the drink, and then went back on, so I said, take your pick.
Right.
So take your pick.
Yeah. I still remain friends with him, but he died from the drink actually in the end.
Oh, dear.
At 39 years of age.
Sad to hear.
Yeah. Pearl, what prompted you to get in contact with Alone?
I was feeling down at home, very down at home, and not getting out mixed because I have problems with my legs and that, you know, bad circulation, and I couldn't get out. So this other girl, her sister, has something to do with the Alone as well. I don't know, I volunteer whatever the girl is, and she got me in through her, and it's the best thing I ever joined. I'm in it 3 years now.
So this is Michelle.
Michelle, no, and the girl I got in, it was Joan McAdam.
Okay.
She ran a monthly group in Cassidy's once a month.
Yeah.
And then they got me Michelle, that comes to me then.
Yeah. So how does it work then, Pearl? Do you actually call up Alone, and do they send out a few people and you take the person you like, or do they do all that for you?
They do that for you. No. And it was Michelle's, she started Alone actually, and I started in it as well, you know.
So Sean, tell us then a little bit about how the befriending service works. We've heard Pearl's experience, but on a wider scale from Alone's point of view.
Very simply, is what happens is people either contact us themselves, or doctors or nurses, or sometimes social workers ring us, about people they identify in the community that may be slightly isolated or lonely or not linked in with their community. And very simply, we then try and match them up with a volunteer that's roughly near enough by, might have similar interests, do you know what I mean? People that we feel will sort of get on, and that. It's a large commitment for the volunteer as well, because sometimes they start visiting person once a week, every week, and then that can go on for several years, and they become an advocate for the person, a supporter, a confidant, and a friend. And then we run a lot of socials during the year. Like last night, we had 200 people for our Christmas do last night, which was it was a great night, to be honest. And the people are linked into their community, and we try and get people involved in other things in their community at the same time as just the visitation service, just so that they don't feel that they're not belonging to the community or they're lost just because they got a little bit older. Because I suppose the loss of link into the community happens gradually over time, the loss of friends, the loss of some family, the loss of some good neighbours, and maybe not working anymore. And so it's just a thing that happens to people gradually. And then eventually people find themselves in a place they never expected to be, really.
Yeah, so it's really, I suppose, it's like you're looking for a good neighbour, the neighbours that used to be there years ago. Mary, isn't it just so important to make sure that elderly people in our community are seen after, that they're okay, that they get visitors?
I often feel that. I feel sometimes we don't look after our elderly as much as we could. I think loneliness must be a terrible thing. I'm lucky I have family. I've always lived with someone, you know, but I can't imagine what that must feel like, and I know it must be dreadful. But I think it's a great idea, and I do think that the work is very, very important, and for us all to try and help out in whatever small way we can with the elderly people in our area, whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
And Sean, tell us about, there was one example I know of an elderly person who was listening to the Joe Duffy's Liveline programme on Radio 1 for company.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose somebody came to us recently and literally what happens to a lot of older people is sometimes there is nobody to still contribute with, to give your opinions to. And somebody was telling me a story recently that what she used to do was waiting for a volunteer to come. She'd take down everything that went on in Joe Duffy for the week. And when the volunteer had come at the end of the week, she'd then give her an opinions on all the subjects that had been going on all week, because she'd nobody to tell the stories, or to have the arguments or the debates, or to get angry about maybe changes in government or anything else, you know. There was nobody to say these things to. So really, she'd keep post-its of everything that was going on in Joe Duffy.
So Pearl, what do you talk to your visitor about?
Everything and anything. And I was worried about something, you could have a good chat with her and help, because she's bubbly and calm as well, and help talk you through it, and you'd go feel better around. We have a laugh and all over tree, you know, and you know, we often went for lunch and that, you know, when she was on the train, she leave last year, but and if you're worried about it, doesn't have to be anything at all, just have a, I just love them coming, just somebody. It's company as well, somebody coming into you for company as well to have a chat with.
And would she be telling you about her own men problems and stuff like that?
Oh gosh, so she's married.
No
still have men problems.
Yeah, she does have them as well.
So this service is only available in Dublin. How can people get in contact with you?
Well, I suppose we would obviously, just to give us a ring on 679-1032 is our phone number. And we take referrals from older people themselves. We sort of encourage, we'd always encourage, I suppose, by the fact that it's staff, volunteers, older people and people in the community, it's a partnership. It's about the community looking after its older people, a bit like anybody else that's marginalised in the community. It's about we all have a role to play, and people have the ability to sort of get involved. And if any older person is feeling that they've gone on that journey, that they're now a little bit more isolated or down or depressed about things, to give us a call and see can we link them into somebody in their community.
Okay, that's the Alone organisation. Sean, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Pearl, thank you very much as well, and happy Christmas to you.
Thanks for coming here.